Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to you this evening. I'm going to be doing a couple of recipes from the book by Yotam Ottolenghi called Plenty. It's a vegetarian cookbook. I've actually changed some of the things to make it more vegan, okay? So the first one I'm going to talk about is coconut rice with sambal and okra. Okay, can you see that? Okay. This is, if you come from Malaysia or something, you probably come across a coconut rice recipe called nasi lemak. So it's similar to that. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to cook it in the rice cooker because I'm lazy. Okay. So I've turned on the rice cooker, and what I'm going to do is, there's 1 cup of basmati rice, which I've rinsed and washed and dried. And I'm just going to wait for the pan to get a little bit warm, and then I'm going to put that in there. So basically it's rice, coconut milk, water, bit of salt, ginger, and kaffir lime. Kaffir lime gives it a really nice limey flavor. So what I'm going to do is just warm it up in the rice. So warm the rice up a little bit in the pan. You can use it on the stove, just a saucepan, a big saucepan. Well, that's warming up. That's sliced fresh ginger. Can you I think wrong plate. And this is the kaffir lime. Normally it comes like this, the leaf like doubled. And the lime itself is a very rough lime. The skin is really, really bumpy and rough. So, but it smells really nice. So, okay, I'm just going to put it back on the PowerPoint. Okay, I'm just putting the coconut milk in, and you can just buy any brand coconut milk if you like, and the water. So it's about 175 mils of coconut milk. I've actually put a little bit extra because I had leftover from last night, and I didn't want to have just a few bits left over. A bit of salt, and my ginger and stuff. And that's all you do.
Ginger and lime.
Ginger and lime leaves. Okay, lid on, put to cook, and that will take about 15 to 20 minutes to cook, so that's fine. I don't have to worry about it. It's all done. Just put this away. I'm going to make this sambal. For those of you who don't know, a sambal is actually like it's like a pesto in a way, but it's an Asian style pesto. It's usually a lot of chili in it and a lot of onions and stuff. So it's sort of really hot. So basically, okay, let's work the sambal. So to make the chili paste, so basically you have, I bought a big long chili because it's not so hot. I'm a bit wary. And I've only done 3 instead of 5. And I've de-seeded it. And this is my dried chili, which I just pinch the tip and remove the seeds. So it's not so hot. I've got 4 pieces of dried chili. Okay, I'm just going to put that. Sorry. Dried chili. I'm actually cheating a bit. I'm going to put 2 garlic cloves instead of 1. And in the recipe, you probably find it says, where is it? 20 red baby shallots peeled. I can't find red baby shallots. What I could find is pink French shallots. And they're like this, okay? And some of them are vertical. I just wash my hands and touch it before anyway. Okay. These are ones I've peeled. Okay. And the difference I looked up is the shallots are finer. The leaves of the shallots are finer than the onion ones, and they're supposed to be less sharp. Okay. If you don't have it, you can always replace it with red onion. It works just as well. It just tastes a little bit different. Okay. There goes my shallots. Half a teaspoon salt. Okay, this is my 130 mils of vegetable oil. And what I'm going to do is just, let me see, garlic and salt, blitz till, gosh, just going to put a bit of this oil in there so that it will help with the okay. So you can do it in a blender like I did on NutriBullet, or you can mash it up, can you see, in, what's it called? Mortar and pestle, okay? I think I made a mistake in the recipe somehow. It's okay. Okay, now what basically do is now I've got to get us, move over to my wok, my sunny wok. I'm gonna warm it up. Just warming the wok up a little bit. And I'm going to put the oil in. I'm just not going to put the whole thing because I'm a bit wary about so much oil. Just waiting for the oil to get really hot. And then I'll add the mix in. If you put it in, lower the heat a bit. So what I'm going to do is add the water in there. So you don't use much of my.
Just try turning off the lights. Turning off the
Light off. The clearer? Oh, yeah. That's not clear. Okay, I might just start putting it on here. Okay, can you see what it looks like? It's nice and red, and you just keep stirring it. I've got to cook this till it gets really, really dark. Okay, well, that's cooking. I just wanted to show you. Can you see this okra? They're small okras. And Diane probably knows these because they are similar to the ones she has, but hers are even smaller. I wish I could get the little smaller ones. These, I bought them frozen from the Fresh Point shop in Maroubra, the grocery shop, and they've got them big frozen stuff. So what I've done is I boiled some water and I've boiled this okra for about 3 minutes, okay? And I've drained it and let it dry. So, and what I do, as soon as I drain it, I put cold water on it to refresh it, and I've got it ready to put into the sambal, okay? So what I need to do is wait for the sambal to get cooked some more, and just keep stirring all the time. Hot. Oh, not too bad. While that's cooking, it's going to take another few minutes. What I'm going to do is, for my second recipe, I'm making Puy Lentils Gallettes. So what I've done is I've taken a sheet of puff pastry, cut it into 4. Instead of cutting into circles, I just made big square ones. And I left it in the fridge for half an hour. So what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to put this in the oven at 200 degrees. My oven is nice and ready because it takes about 15 minutes. Okay, that's timed up. And go back to your just beginning to get some of the aroma. I'm going to add a little bit more oil. Just trying to see whether it's got darker or not. It's just a little bit darker. I'm waiting for that to cook. Any questions? Eva, Diane, any questions?
Yeah, anything that you can use instead of that kaffir lime leaves?
You can leave it out if you don't want to. Or you can, I suppose you can throw in, lemon rind. Shave some of the lemon, the skin of the lemon.
Yes, yes, yes.
Just sort of shave long strips and put it in. They'll give you similar lime flavor.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Okay. But the kaffir lime gives you a very stronger flavor. But hey, doesn't matter. It still tastes good. Okay, and it's mainly for the smell as well.
Sorry, I came a little late. What was the dish?
Now I've cooked the rice first, Diane,
Yeah.
with the coconut milk and water and kaffir lime leaves, as well as slices of ginger. Okay, and then I'm making the sambal for the okra. Yeah, I bought similar okra to the one you have, but these are slightly bigger than yours. And I boiled them in water for about 3 minutes, drained it, refreshed it with cold water, and I've got it ready to put into my sambal.
It was frozen, was it?
Yes. I don't think I've seen fresh, that small, tiny ones, though.
No, because the tiny ones come from the Middle East.
Middle East, right.
Yeah, frozen.
Well, these are a little bit bigger than the tiny ones.
Yeah.
There's some tiny ones in there, but yours was short and fat, wasn't it?
Yeah, very short.
Okay. Sorry? It's not okay.
It's going to get cooked.
Okay, that's almost ready. It's really, really a lot darker than it was. And if I get the right recipe out. I'm just going to turn off the heat and add tamarind paste. That's okay. This is tamarind paste. You can buy from the Indian shops. It's easy to use because it's already made into a liquid. So I'm just going to use, a tablespoon. So, which is about 3 teaspoons. Okay, and similarly, I'm going to have sugar. I'm probably going to put just 2 teaspoons of sugar. And just mix it up. So this actually gets even darker. I'm just going to turn this on a little while for a couple of minutes or half a minute. And then add my okra in. You don't have to cook the okra anymore. You just have to warm it up to the temperature you need for serving. Can you see? So that's my dish. Okay, that's the okra sambal. And basically what you do with this is that when the rice is done, just put the rice on a plate, put the okra next to it. Okay, and then you garnish it with other things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this like this and do the next dish. Okay, So the next one is the Puy Lentils Galette. I've actually put the puff pastry in the oven to cook, and it's getting nice and puffy, so that's good. It's got another 8 minutes to go. Meanwhile, what I have to do is
Over here.
I'm just going to put some of these things away. Yep. Nice. I'll start with the lentils. If you're using dry Puy lentils, just wash them and boil them in water for about 20 minutes and then strain them and then cool them down. What I've done is basically I'm using the tinned ones. So I've rinsed, washed and rinsed them and drained them, okay? So these are nice little tiny round ones, and they're called Puy lentils, or they're French ones, lentils, okay? So what I'm going to do now is make the topping for the galette, which is with the lentils. So what I will need to do is, this is cumin seeds. I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds in this pot because I'm going to roast them. You can use powder. If you're using the powder, you just use 1 teaspoon, okay? 1, and this is coriander seeds. Okay, so coriander seeds and coriander leaves are very different. So just remember, I'm just going to put this on the stove. So let it, you'll get the nice aroma coming from that. Can you see? I'm just putting this away because I need to grind the spices. It's starting to smell nicely. You can get a nice aroma, and just a little while, 2 or 3 minutes. Can you see that? Okay, it's gone slightly darker, but mainly the idea is you don't have to worry about whether it goes black or not, because then it gets burnt. But just wait for the smell to come through, and once the smell starts, the aroma comes through, then it's time to take it off. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it here to cool down for a little while. Okay, and I'm just going to start cooking the onions. So I've got 1 tablespoon of oil. You probably realize it's 1 medium-sized onion, chopped up, and I'm just going to put that in there. while that cooks, that's fine. Now let's get the steam. So while the rice is cooking, I'm going to grind this. Okay. See that? And I'm going to put that in my coffee grinder, aka spice grinder. Can you see that? It's all finely ground. But the nicest thing is you can smell it. It smells beautiful, okay? Because it's been roasted and it's freshly made, it really, really smells good. The onions are getting cooked, getting nice and soft. That's a puff pastry, and surprisingly it turned brown on top as well, in spite of the fact that I did not put any egg or milk product on top of it. Normally that makes it nice and brown, but maybe I had the temperature high enough and did it right. Okay, that's your galette, the base, and then we will and okay.
So, and give me a sec, right?
Okay. The onions are cooked, gone a bit brown. I'm going to add the garlic and my spices. I'm going to lower the heat a little bit. Okay. Just about a minute or so. If you're using ground spices, like I said, you use half the amount. Say 1 teaspoon of cumin and 1 teaspoon of coriander powder. It'd be nice if you roast it a little bit on a pan, dry roast it a little bit. It gives a better taste to the cooking, okay? It also makes the fragrance come through, okay. There it is. There's just the onions, the cumin, the coriander, and garlic, And what I'm going to do is add it to my lentils. This is my Puy lentils. And because my lentils are a bit cold, so it cools off quite quickly, so I can actually add my other ingredients in. Okay, that goes into the... This is 500 grams of Nakula, natural plant-based yogurt. And it's plain, so, and it's got, oh, it's plain. You don't want it sweet. So basically you put 250 grams in, 250 mils if you like. Just a little bit more. Mix it with. That's the reason why you need it cool before you put it in, otherwise your yogurt gets all over the place. And I've got a little bit more than 50 grams of baby spinach. And this is 3 tablespoons of coriander leaves and 3 tablespoons of mint from my garden. So basically you mix all this. Just a couple more ingredients I've got to add to this. It's salt, pepper, and juice of 1 lemon. I'm just going to put a little bit of salt. You can use sea salt, you can use Himalayan salt, you can use whatever salt you like. And I like pepper, so just grind as much pepper as you want. This is black pepper and fairly coarsely ground. And what I'm going to do now is wash my hands and squeeze the lemon in. Andrew wants me to tell you the lemon is from our garden. Okay. Can you see? It's an interesting one. It tends to have a bit more orangey color to it. I'm just going to squeeze directly onto it. And it's very juicy fruit. The other one. I'm just going to mix it all up nicely. I should actually be using 2 spoons to mix it with, it might be easier. And that's just for the top of the galette, okay? Okay. That's what you do, basically. Have your galette sitting there, and use tongs because it's easier for me to lift it up with tongs, and just pile it on top of it. Okay, so you can have the galette circular, or you can have it square like I've done it. Doesn't matter. You can put more on. It's good to have a little bit of the puff pastry sitting on the side so you can actually see it. I'm not very good at piling, am I? But that's basically it. And you can, obviously it's meant for 4 people because there are 4 of these. So what I'm going to do is move it all out. We've got 1 recipe there. Put this away. Do you want to show the rice? This is the rice, it's done. It's got a really nice coconut milk and lime flavor. The smell coming through. I should say more the aroma than anything else. So when I do that is that some of the rice here, you can put
White on white.
it's white on
Yeah,
white.
on the-
Sorry about that.
yeah, that's it.
And some of my sambal. You put it on top if you like. Okay. And then what you do is, this is fried shallots, straight from the Chinese shop, Asian shop. And just put some fried shallots on top. Some green stuff on top, which is coriander leaves. And in Malaysians and things, we tend to have peanuts with it. So I've got some peanuts, which I bought roasted ones. They actually don't taste exactly like the ones we have in Malaysia, but you know, it'll go. And instead of lime juice, I've got lemon juice, okay? What you basically do is squeeze a lot of the lemon juice on it before you eat, and voila, that's a meal in itself. Okay? In Malaysia, what they would do is the sambal is usually made with shrimp or something, but it's nice making it with okra, actually. You can actually make it with any other vegetable if you want to, but I think the okra's got a really nice flavor. You can put eggplant as well if you want it. They're all mushy and nice, because sambals are meant to be slightly mushy, but it's nice to have some chewy bits with it as well. You can, because in Malaysia with this kind of food, we would have ikan bilis, which is tiny anchovies, which are deep fried. So what you can do as an alternative, my sister was telling me on the phone, is you buy the dry mushrooms from the Chinese shop, put it in hot water till it softens, slice it very, very thin, put a little bit of oil, dry it a little bit, put a little bit of oil in it and put it in the oven and cook it for a little while. And it comes out like pretend ikan bilis, except it's mushroom. Any questions?
Yana, where do you get the puff pastry? Is that in the frozen section or?
Yes, it is. This is from Aldi's.
Oh,
Okay. Aldi's, and they come in already in sheets. You can actually buy puff pastry in a block, and then you defrost it, roll it out to the thickness you want, and you make it as well. But it's easier to have it already rolled. And I think, you know, it comes up nice and high enough. And if you want it higher, you can always put 2, one on top of the other. You know what I mean? Like that. Or cook it one on top of the other together. So it's very easy to make. And like I said, today I cheated with the lentils. I used tin lentils. Okay, so basically it works out as 1 tin of lentil will give you 1¼ cups of lentil. Okay, because remember there's water and everything else. So the recipe asks for 200 grams of dry lentils. That makes 2½ cups, which is, so it makes up 2 tins. Okay, so it's just a matter of working it out, what you want. But dry lentils are not that are easy to get. You can't find them all in all shops, but you might find them in some Indian shops. You definitely find them. You will find them in Indian grocery, and I think sometimes Harry's Farm has them as well. I haven't seen it in, I've seen the tinned ones in Coles and Woolies, but I haven't seen the dry ones there. And normally, like when you put in your pastry in the oven, just near it with a bit of milk or something. I actually had it ready there to put on, but I forgot to put it on.